Scientologist Grant Cardone has been caught in a lie, and it's kind of a big one. Scientologist Stephen Ridley is being accused of doing a Piano Man scam. We have so much to talk about, including a bunch of protest news. All kinds of things happened over the last couple of days. Let's talk about it. Welcome, everybody. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we get into all the good Scientology culty stuff. My 35 years in this insidious cult and leaving with 3 generations of my family. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, members, for being here. Everybody in the live chat, great to see you. And a huge thank you to the moderators for helping out today and just keeping the wheels on the bus. Let's be honest. I would be so lost. At least I remember to hit live today. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday in just a little bit. But first, let's just get into a little bit before we get into the super juicy Grant Cardone news. You guys know I've been following the Real Housewives of New York, so you don't have to. And all I have for you is one interesting comment from Andy Cohen about Rebecca Minkoff that came out in Variety. The whole article was about the whole show, but I'm going to go look at only this one part where Variety asked, and you have some new faces on New York, including Rebecca Minkoff. What is your reaction to the backlash she's been getting for being a Scientologist? And again, this is Andy Cohen, right? The guy behind all of the Real Housewives franchises, like from New York to Orange County. He says, I can't really judge people's reaction to Scientology, but I'll say that she's a well-known New Yorker and she's fun to have in the mix. And Raquel is just absolutely blowing my mind. She's got some really good personal story coming up as well. So he's like, it basically, in my mind, he didn't answer the question. I can't really judge people's reactions to Scientology. What kind of an answer is that? Yeah, you can. You're being asked, like, what is your reaction to it? What's your reaction to it, Andy? So way to dodge the question and then divert onto an entirely different person in the show. That just stuck out at me as like, why can't you just say, Andy Cohen, you are not in Scientology. You know, they're not. Andy Cohen, I feel like would be with this whole Real Housewives franchise and all of that behind him, should not have anything really to worry about much with Scientology. I just thought it was a weird way of not answering a question. It sounded almost like a Scientology way of not answering the question. I can't judge people's reaction. No, yeah, you can. The whole show is about judging and saying what you think and saying what you feel. So I don't know. I'm not letting that go. I feel like he needs to answer that. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. You guys know I'm watching it so that you do not have to. It is not everybody's bag, and I get that. But I'm so interested in how this Scientology story is going to unfold with Rebecca Minkoff being on the show. And it continues to come out, all of the ties to her family and everything. So there's no hiding. There is no hiding, Rebecca Minkoff and Andy Cohen. The truth is out. Okay, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. All right, let's address it right off the bat. If you caught it, Relatable Reese threatened me. Okay, kind of, sort of. We're going to take a look at that, though. We're going to take a look at a clip of yesterday. I did a video with Relatable Reese after I took a little bit of time off. I'm going to tell you guys more about why I took time off and what's been happening in another video. So stay tuned for that. When you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. We're going to get into that. So I did a video, though, yesterday with Relatable Reese. And it started off, I think it's hilarious. I didn't think it was rough at all, but it is a total manifestation of how I feel my life is at the moment. I thought so. So let's take a look. Let's see. I got the clip pulled up. This is how we started yesterday. Like, this was the start of the show that we did.
Natalie, I would knock that hat off your head if I was there. We have been talking to you guys for the last 10 minutes. I'm so pissed at you right now. I was so deep. I almost started crying with what we were talking about. And we haven't been live. You're effing kidding me.
I
I'm going to
know.
demonetize you for this. Are you serious?
Well, I mean, the hat fits today. I'm just a hot mess doing my best.
Natalie, you guys, Natalie just asked me the most deep question after she talked for 5 minutes straight. And I was like, you make a good point. And she goes, wait, whoa, Reese, we're not live. I was like, what?
I'm just still laughing about it. It just cracked me up. But again, I'm in another video. I'm going to get into more of a lot about what's been going on, but it is so on brand. Let me just say that was so on brand, but I needed that laugh. Oh, it was so great. We had a great time, great video, talked about all kinds of stuff. Go ahead and check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, if you go on my channel, go to live, you'll see it. It's the last video that I did before this one. So hope you guys check that out. We had some really good laughs and realizations about things. It's always, I find it very helpful for me personally when I have conversations, and I'm so glad that we can do it. We can share those conversations, because for me, when I sit down and speak to another former Scientologist, it's kind of like the conversation that would happen offline in ways, but we're doing it online. The questions I would ask, what I would want to know. So I'm glad that you guys are here for that, because I have so much fun doing that, those collaborations and interviews and all of the things. And yesterday, Jenna Miscavige and Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology did a video, and they got into what inspired Aaron to start interviewing ex-Scientologists, speaking of that exact topic. And I thought this was really interesting.
I guess that's right. It was trying to fill a need, but that need was my own. That need was my need to want to see really interesting conversations of former Scientologists, but the questions non-Scientologists were asking them were not interesting to me in the least.
Right. And you would have loved to have had that in your situation. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes total sense.
And I remember there was also an aspect where, me and Mike, for example, would have these conversations just privately. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, if all the Scientologists in the world heard your answer to this question, like everyone would leave Scientology. I remember the first time I had a conversation with Mike where I was like, what's up with the upper OT levels? And he's like, oh, they don't exist. And I'm like, what? Like,
it's so true. That happens even in my experience over the years. We start having conversations. So like, wait a minute, you're putting together the pieces. We have our individual experiences in this cult, but often you can put together the pieces by speaking to other people. Oh, I just love it so much when like worlds collide and conversations are had and you're, putting it all together. That one piece about the upper levels, the operating Thetan levels, mainly 9 and 10. Operating Thetan 9 and 10 are supposed to be like the next levels to be released in Scientology. They've been threatening to release them for decades, and they don't. Why? Because they don't exist. It's like the end of endless farewell tour. Like when Cher was, her farewell tour, didn't it go on for like years? It feels like that in a way. No, we're going to release it. We're going to release it. Oh, just stay tuned. No, you're not. They don't exist. They don't exist. And everyday Scientologists don't know that. That one little piece of info is a great one to share with them if you do run into any. Like, how do you feel about the fact that the operating Thetan levels 9 and 10, or they would recognize it just as OT 9 and 10, don't actually exist? That it's just this carrot put forward to keep people moving on up that bridge to total freedom. Just keep trucking, keep going. Chase that carrot. Chase that carrot, Scientology. Okay, now we're going to get into something that we are really going to do a deep dive into around here. I'm going to be talking about this more tomorrow. I'm going to sit down with it to do a collaboration video with Andy from Guitar Stuff Studio. Link down below to the video I'm going to show you and everything else that we're talking about. Okay, do you guys remember when we started talking about Scientologist Stephen Ridley? He does the piano lessons online, and questions were coming out by other creators in the piano world of Who is this dude? Like, why is it he's saying, oh, 3 minutes a day, you can be this master, amazing piano player? That kind of caught their eyes like, I don't know. Many people have played piano for many years, and I don't think you get really good practicing 3 minutes a day. But okay, what do I know? I've never actually played a piano. Well, people that do know, people that know way more than me about this are calling it out. And Andy at Guitar Studio Stuff, why can't I say that? Guitar Stuff Studio. Andy at Guitar Stuff Studio. I want to switch those two words. I'm sorry, Andy. I'll get it straight by tomorrow. Guitar Stuff Studio. There, now it flows. Guitar Stuff Studio. Guitar Stuff Studio. Okay, now I remember. Thank you for bearing with me through my memorization process. Use it if it helps you. Just kind of like sing it and dance it, and then I think it sticks. Maybe not. We'll see. Anywho, multiple people, a few people in the piano community have started doing these videos about this Stephen Ridley, who is a Scientologist. Is what he's doing a scam? Is what he is doing recruiting for Scientology? Okay, I'm not to be all spoiler alert, but I'm going to spoiler alert. Yeah, he is. That is what it looks like. And Andy here is one who is bringing it to the forefront. And like I said, we're chatting with him tomorrow. I'm really excited about it. But let's take a look at a video that Andy did at Guitar Stuff Studio about Scientologist Stephen Ridley and this alleged scam he's got going with piano and how he's using it to recruit for Scientology. Take a look at this.
Piano money, but I mean, if he wants to spend his money worshipping Xenu or whatever, then whatever. Hail Xenu.
I love that. I'm going to start stealing it. Hail Xenu.
That's
ow. That actually hurt.
Him. Just don't say I didn't warn you. But no, it gets darker. It gets a whole lot darker. You see, Scientology it revolves around money. There's no other way of putting it. It's all about the money. It's business. It's big business. But like any other business, it needs money, and that money comes from its followers.
So the whole, like you might be thinking, well, Natalie, people can teach things. It doesn't mean it's Scientology. Well, wait till you see what he shares about people who actually have had an experience with this Ridley Academy and why it kind of is giving a little culty.
He's after your daughters. Ridley Academy, Scientology Recruitment Center. This is a Scientology recruitment center hiding behind Ridley Academy Piano Masterclass. A group of Scientologists hide behind this piano school front to get young, unsuspecting, vulnerable women to get feelings for Stephen Ridley and then slowly manipulate them into joining Scientology through endless email campaigns that lead them to free mental health courses. The entire school is all Scientology recruiters posing as helpful musicians and music coaches to get you into Scientology. I had to stop my teenage daughter from getting involved with them. What a shame. I was hopeful this didn't have any agenda and she'd only learn the piano as an alternative to social media. Sadly, this is nothing but a recruiting school for unsuspecting students and young vulnerable women. Anyone else experienced this? It was very shocking to me, and as a parent, that they could so easily manipulate my teen daughter into a cult. I would be very interested to know if anybody else has experienced this.
How crazy is that? And there is more. I'm linking down his video so you guys can watch it today and then join me tomorrow. You don't have to watch it before tomorrow's video, but it's so fascinating and we'll fill in some of the blanks. And then Andy and I from Guitar Stuff Studio are going to talk about it. And I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned for that. But it is kind of scary, though, at the same time, isn't it? I mean, piano lessons, children, are they being recruited for Scientology? Yes, they are. We're going to get into it, but the more you know. So the good thing is this is coming out. It's being shared. The piano community is not going to take it sitting at that keyboard. No, they are not. More people are talking about this and exposing it. So I think it's really interesting. I find it very interesting. I hope you guys do too. Let's see. Mary Reno, does Ridley teach people to play? We stand tall on the piano. Mary, maybe, huh? We stand tall. If you know, you know. You have to know that song. I can't sing too much of it because, Scientology going to get crazy with, she's singing our song. It's our song. How dare she sing our song? That's our song. Well, here's another one for you, Scientology. Flag is here. My apologies to my former Scientology friends in the chat. I know it can be a little bit triggering. Okay, so now let's go over to Grant Cardone. Scientologist Grant Cardone, senior Scientologist, far up the bridge to total freedom. You guys, he got caught in a big lie. You guys know he got into a beef with another rich guy. And then they were like, Grant Cardone's like, I'm going to sue you for saying this stuff about me. And dude was like, yeah, okay, go ahead, whatever. So the lawsuit happens. And do you know what happens? Grant Cardone ends up exposing himself and his own lies because of his own lawsuit. Does that sound familiar? Is that ringing a bell with anybody? Remember Scientology versus Debbie Cook? And they're like, we're going to sue you. And she's like, okay, you must sue me. Let's go to court. Let me sit here on the stand and talk about how you practically waterboarded me, how other Scientology executives were kept in a trailer and physically abused, emotionally abused, and all at the hands of David Miscavige. Let's talk about that. Then that stuff was on the court record and out there, and it still is today. So listen to this, you guys. This is crazy. I mean, this is even crazy for Grant Cardone. This is Scott Schaefer. He did a great video. Grant Cardone made a massive mistake, and this dude called it out.
A company owned and controlled by plaintiff Grant Cardone. As explained in greater detail below, plaintiff objection is baseless and is interposed by the sole purpose of preventing defendant from discovering documents that are likely to sink his defamation claims in this case. To illustrate, plaintiff claims that Ledger's statements described him as a fraud, effectively accusing him of criminal activity, were false. But Shyman is one of many sources that suggest Ledger's statements were true. In fact, Shyman was allegedly recorded by law enforcement officials insisting that she did not want to go to prison in connection with her work for plaintiff and his companies. And former Grant Cardone executives, including Shyman, revealed publicly that Grant Cardone tried to burn the place down by frantically destroying evidence so that law enforcement officials could not uncover wrongdoing by plaintiff and his companies.
Did you hear that? I think this person that he's talking about was like his CFO, being like, oh yeah, he just was like setting fire to things, just getting rid of evidence, as one does, no big deal. She does not want to go down with the ship. So sounds like she is singing like a canary, and rightfully so. And there's more to it, just when you think it couldn't get worse. So allegations Grant Cardone is a criminal, no one to blame but himself here, because again, this guy gets into how this came about. This is such a foot bullet. It so gives Scientology. Scientology constantly shoots themselves in the foot. Scientology constantly creates more enemies than anybody I know. Scientology constantly exposes itself as a cult because it is a cult doing cult things, acting like a cult. This really gives that. Check it out.
Do you understand what this is alleging right here? This is alleging that Grant Cardone is a criminal, okay? And this right here would have never come out if Grant Cardone had not sued this guy. Grant Cardone has no one to blame but himself. I know Grant and his team and his lawyers are going to watch this video, Grant, and bare minimum, my worst videos get like 20,000 views. A good video gets 100,000. So let's say somewhere in the middle. Let's say this video, when it's all said and done, gets 50,000 views, Grant. So 50,000 people are going to see me showing a document where this lady allegedly said that you were trying to burn documents to prevent the police from finding them. And this would have never come out if you just hadn't sued John Ledger.
Can you imagine just to be a fly on the wall when either Grant Cardone had the realization or his lawyers were like, what have you done? What have you done? I'll tell you what Grant Cardone did. He followed L. Ron Hubbard's way of handling things. Never defend, always attack. Never defend, always attack. And look what happens. Look what happens.
You have no one to blame but yourself for this. This is the adult equivalent. When you were a kid and like somebody would grab your hand and stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. This is the adult equivalent of this. Grant Cardone is effectively just smacking himself in the face for no reason.
It is so true. It is so true. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about this. This is juicy as all get out. I love it. I love it because you know what? When you do culty things and you support a human trafficking cult, then this is the kind of stuff that happens. And you think you're so much better, or in such, you have just so much more of a right than other people to bring a lawsuit like he did, when somebody was basically, Ledger was saying, it's like, are you a billionaire? And Grant Cardone wouldn't answer the question. He was like a cat in a bathtub. That's what John Ledger did. Pushed Grant Cardone, not even pushed. Grant Cardone was already standing on the edge of that bathtub. Dude fell in. Cat in a bathtub. Cat in a bathtub. Cannot get out. And somebody like turned on the water. Who turned on the water? Grant Cardone, on himself. On himself. He did this to himself. Now, there is this datum, if you will, Scientology belief too, that we will stop ourselves from committing harmful acts by destroying ourselves. And honestly, I don't even think that's limited to Scientology. That is kind of sounding familiar to me. Any of my people here, you guys, tell me in the chat or on the replay. There's another belief system or belief around that. It's just not coming into my head. But he does it to himself. He did it to himself. So we're going to look at one last part of this because I love it so much. And I'm obviously probably more excited about this than I should, but I don't think so. Listen.
One of the claims that Grant Cardone has made is that Fox News and A&E both decided not to have him on their shows because of the allegations that John Ledger made against him. That's part of the allegations of why Grant is claiming he lost $100 million because of what John Ledger has said. And John has tried to contact these companies as well as other companies in the past. If you know, Grant Cardone was on a show called Undercover Billionaire back in 2019. And John is trying to get documents from all these people from Undercover Billionaire because he claimed, Grant Cardone has claimed that he is a billionaire. And he wants documentation from the company to prove that.
This is so crazy too. Again, it's just foot bullet after foot bullet. Grant Cardone makes this claim. Well, because of what John Ledger says, I've not been able to be on Fox and A&E and whatever. He totally has been, and there is evidence of it.
And Grant Cardone is trying to prevent that from happening. Now, what's really interesting in this document right here is talking about how Grant Cardone is trying to prevent him, John Ledger, from contacting from getting subpoenas of both Fox News and A&E. And the reason that he's doing that, according to Ledger, is because there's evidence to prove that what Grant Cardone is saying is just not true. So it says, pursuant to Florida Rule of Civil Procedure 1.
Okay, so he kind of gets into a bit more of the legal stuff, but I've got the video linked down below so you can see the whole thing. Oh, it just gives crumbling. It gives desperation. This is how you act when you are creating your own cult outside of Scientology, which my personal opinion, and it's only my opinion, is it really gives cult what he's doing. So I don't know. Sharona says Cardone seems to have a closet full of shovels he's putting to good use. Keep on digging the hole, Grant. Yeah, I agree. Kelly Copter. It's giving scammy and scummy. It so is. Kelly Copter, I'm so excited about your werewolves game coming up this week. You guys go to Kelly Copter's channel. Not right now. I'm in the middle of talking, but afterwards. And check it out. It's a game. I don't even know how it works. She told me about it. And before she could even finish the sentence, I'm like, yes, sign me up. Sign me up. I want to try this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it is happening this week. And you can go find the details on Kelly Copter's channel. Okay, so let's see. Now, okay, you guys, you got to help me figure something out. I'm sitting at home, minding my own business, and I come across this short, and I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Is it the same guy? I don't know, but I have a few things to say about this. First, we're going to look at this here. So this is from just the other day, City of Angels, LA 1. What we're looking at here is a Scientologist. The Scientologist is in front of the blue buildings in Hollywood, Los Angeles. The Scientologist is holding a briefcase. Now, my ex-Scientology friends, you guys know, but in Scientology, when you were on the operating Thetan levels, when you start the beginning of these levels, you are auditing yourself. It's called solo auditing. And you have to take your materials from the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles, one of those blue buildings, to wherever you're staying to do your auditing. So to transport those materials, you need to do it in a briefcase that locks, not just locks, but it has to be strapped to your body. You got to strap it on. This is the only thing you're going to catch a Scientologist strapping on. I'm sorry, it's probably too early for that, and it's a Monday. Anywho, you have to have it strapped to your body. I had to do it. Like they used to have things you put around your wrist and then it attached to the briefcase. But dude here has just got it like wrapped around his wrist so nobody can grab it. Okay, we're going to unpack this. At first glance, this seems like a simple thing. This guy's just trying to take the signs. There's so much more going on here, and we are going to unpack it. But first, let's watch the video.
Suitcase and get out of here.
So he had just tried to take some signs, and he gave them back. Scotty took them from him. And then he's crossing the street to go to the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles with his Xenu whatnot materials in there strapped to his wrist.
Yards for that.
No, you can leave it there. You can leave it there.
And that's City of Angels, LA 1 speaking.
You can take it.
No, you can leave it there.
He's like, you can take it.
I'll take it.
So he hands it over. Okay, here's a few things that's happening here, you guys. Well, actually, let me play it to the end. I guess that's kind of it. But let's go back to dude here. We'll get a close up on him. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening here. Number one, what you doing touching signs? What are you doing touching signs? Hello, Scientology, y'all need to educate your people. Well, I am conjuring David Miscavige. I am conjuring David Miscavige. David Miscavige, join us. Oh, here he is. Office of Special Affairs, wake up, my lovelies. It is Monday and you are in for quite a whopper. Okay, so here's your dude here, okay? Let's talk about this. He's carrying confidential materials, the most confidential materials in all of Scientology, while confronting, agitating, and harassing protesters. So to the everyday person, it might just be like, okay, he's harassing protesters. That's bad enough. Here's the thing, you guys. He's doing it while carrying confidential materials. This is a huge deal. This is, I'm talking trouble, security checks, sound the alarms. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Scientology, get this man under control. He just created a humongous security breach for you in Scientology. Now, because I was someone who did audit on the upper levels of Scientology, right there at the Advanced Organization of Los Angeles with my briefcase strapped to me, I know what the real rules are. You cannot do that. That is so out security, out manners, out PR. It is out all the things, but mostly security. Okay, my ex-Scientology friends, you jump in the chat. You tell me if you're on the replay, jump in the comments. Is this or is this not a security breach? I think it totally is. It totally is. He is engaging with people who, from the eyes of Scientology, are hostile to Scientology while carrying around his confidential materials. It is just so not okay and wrong. Taking the signs alone was like bad enough. Like, what are you trying to do? What are you really trying to do? Okay, so here's who I think this is. And I'm not 100% sure because he does it. This video I'm going to show you is from some years ago. And the gentleman we were looking at, had a shaved head, but you can shave your head in a few years. To me, it does look like him. But first, this is a little trivia for you guys. First, you guys, okay, I'm going to show you his picture again. You see man here. Okay. Does he look familiar? Does anyone recognize that man? I'll give you a hint. Hold on. Let me get rid of that. I'm going to give you a hint. finger in the mouth. Anybody remember? Okay. Number one, you guys don't watch my channel enough. You need to go back, study word clear and star rate every single one of my videos, because you guys should know this. I think I might have even showed it 2 times. Okay, I'm going to show you. And again, I don't know 100% this is the same guy, but Scientology is a very small world. So he looks very similar. But I want to preface it by saying I could be wrong. This may not be the same guy, right, Marcy? He looks familiar. When you guys see it, you're going to be like, how did we not know that? How did we not see that? All right, let me pull up this video. Do you remember this, you guys? Do you remember the chiropractor? We kind of called him the creepy chiropractor on account of what he was doing. There in his office, you can see the operating Thetan levels. This is why I wasn't sure, because if dude is carrying a briefcase, he's likely solo auditing, but I thought he already did those levels, but Scientology makes people go out and do the same thing. Okay, Kelly Copter, are you remembering now? Are we remembering now? Okay, let's watch a clip of this video.
Surrounding chiropractic care. Is it safe? Is it helpful? Are they real doctors? You may have had a negative experience that left you hesitant to return to a chiropractor.
And the voice to me sounds the same too. When I listen to the guy's voice, he only says like just a little bit in the other video.
Maybe you felt uncomfortable.
Now here, let's just skip to, because we don't need to watch his whole thing. And I apologize in advance for making you watch this, but I feel like you should be suffering with me, okay? Because I had to watch it to see if this was the same guy.
Whatever. Call and make an appointment today.
Is it the same guy? Does it seem like it's him? I don't know. It might be, it might not be, but there aren't that many chiropractors too these days. And yeah, I don't know. Exactly, Kelly Copter. Look at those certificates. Look at those certificates. So many. And what's funny is how he has them up in his office. Maybe it's his office where regular patients don't go, because they're going to look at it and be like, what is that? What is OT1? Is that some type of adjustment? Do I need to pay extra for that? Do I? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just weird. Yeah, Christy Lynn, you're so right. I love that they talk about the super secret levels, which are readily available for free on the internet. I wish someone would tell this guy to save himself a couple of tens of thousands of dollars. Oh yeah, it can even be over 100, depending on how many things you need to do to be accepted onto those levels as well. Okay, so some people, you guys think it's him too. I'm telling you, I just think it's something. It could be, but regardless, if you see somebody near the blue buildings with a strapped on briefcase, they're carrying confidential materials. I would ask them, should you be doing this while carrying your confidential materials? I mean, I doubt it'll happen again. That guy felt so emboldened to do that. Mary Reno's like, yeah, same guy to me. James Steele, you win. Brilliant. Now, I don't know if you're talking about me, James, or something else in the chat, but I'm going to make this about me. I am. I'm making it about me. Thank you, James. Okay, let's move on. Oh my gosh, we still have so much more to cover. MD Media was out in Pasadena. MD Media, dude, you're strong. Your sign tech is strong. It really is. You guys got to see this. You got to look at these signs and see what he put right under the security camera too, just so Scientology security don't feel left out.
Show you what I got down here. This one is right underneath the camera right here. We're in Pasadena, California. If anyone's wondering, it's 4 o'clock. So this one I put right under the camera so they have to read it.
I read OT 1 through 8, no pneumonia, wake up. It really is Xenu. So the operating Thetan levels, as everybody knows who's not in Scientology, have to do with the galactic overlord Xenu. And L. Ron Hubbard said that if you are exposed to these materials before you are ready, and what does it mean to be ready? Means you paid all that money and you got your security checks and you told them enough stuff that they can blackmail you if you want to go out and talk about this stuff, and you get pneumonia. You get pneumonia and you die. That's what L. Ron Hubbard said. Yet here's South Park putting up an episode completely accurate about it. Here's everybody on the internet talking about it. MD Media putting signs out, and no, nobody is getting pneumonia and dying from this. But I love that he put it right under the camera for them. That for me was the best part. Then of course, these Pasadena guides, I think they're called, showed up and are like, hey, one guy tried to get him to leave. And MD Media is, of course, hey, I'm here. This is a public street. I get to be here, which he is totally correct about. And then more of the yellow shirts, not the Scientology yellow shirts, you guys, but these are actually, these guides show up and they call the police. But let's take a look.
They're telling me I have to leave. I'm well within my rights. Old Town's a lot bigger for you guys to patrol than just around Scientology buildings, so you know. You're in their pockets as well, it looks like. Oh, sorry, not getting you on camera.
And he's so right. There's so much of old Pasadena to patrol. Why are you right there? Why are you just acquiescing to Scientology and all of their, you know, ooh, come get rid of this guy. Just come do our dirty work. Well, the police do show up. The police show up and Scientology was inside going, oh, the police are coming. Yes, they are. Well, it was a big nothing burger because why? Because here in the United States, in most places, I would say all, but always check the regulations in your city. You can do that. You can peacefully protest. He can't block the door. He can't go onto their property. None of that was he doing. None of that.
And these guys,
What's your name, sir?
I'm Matthew.
Matthew. Nice to meet you, Matthew. I'm Ralph.
Right up.
Like Richard Ralph.
Okay, I'm sure you'll see me a lot more.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, it's,
I've seen this kind of call come out before, so it's probably you.
Yeah.
But it's my first interaction with you. So.
and I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not yelling.
I
And
never
just,
said that. You're expressing your
it's just
concern
wasting
with.
your resources every time I'm out here.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep calling you guys.
You guys need a move?
No.
Okay. Okay, I thought this was your car.
We were just downloading the app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. No worries.
I've dealt with several other officers before about it too. It's just like,
What they tell you in the past?
I'm fine. I'm not doing anything wrong
Yeah.
as long as I'm not on the property line.
And you guys drop some love, some aloha, some heart for MD Media in the chat. He did such a great job handling this.
So I know my property line, and
I don't see any hate speech. It's kind of you're expressing your concern with the company
yes,
or with the church or with whatever they got going on here.
Okay, I love that. Did you guys catch that? The company, the church, he couldn't even say church, the church, whatever they got going on here. I love that. That is actually, I think, my favorite part. Even the police can't bring themselves to call you a church, Scientology.
What you're allowed to do is part of your First Amendment right.
Yeah, it's what he is allowed to do. It is part of his First Amendment right. And MD Media, he does. He rocks. Yes. Matthew, love it when he called it a company. Yes. Very telling. Did you hear that, Scientology? Office of Special Affairs? You a company. People know. We all know. We're all onto it. Yes, Mama Opal, company of Scientology. That's what you are. You are an event venue. You are a company. So the yellow shirt guys were like around the corner and they ended up walking off because the police came and they're basically like, yeah, continue on with your badass self. Love your signs though, MD Media. Ooh, which I have a favor to ask you talented people in the community. Can somebody help make a sign don't make the sign. I will make the sign. I will order and pay for the sign. It's the art part. It's the graphics for it. Could you guys kind of help me make a sign? Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. If any of you are good at, putting graphics together and making it however big it's supposed to be, help a girl out. If you could shoot me an email, we can talk about a couple ideas. It's the graphics part that I struggle with, but I do need to get some signs made. And I'm very inspired by what MD Media is doing there. I just love the signs. And thank you guys for showing lots of love. Windy City's here. We're about to look at a couple clips of yours. Lady Victoria, we'll see you later. Power Lives to Paralyze. There you are. There you are. Love the video. I don't know if I told you Power Lives to Paralyze. I saw the one about dreams. Ooh, yeah, it made a lot of sense. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Okay, so now let's go over to Chicago, where Windy City Thetan Watch is out there doing the Lord's work, helping Scientology not break the law. You would think they would be a little bit more grateful that he is trying to help them not break the law.
Nico's going to try and hand out some flyers. Inside, Nico.
I love that too. Like they see him coming. See, they're putting the signs in because they know they're not supposed to have the signs outside.
Just a reminder, that's illegal to have your sign out on the sidewalk. You're not allowed to have your cult propaganda out on the sidewalk. Don't break the law. It's in your best interest not to break the law. And now we'll see. Remember, I told you, I don't have to do much, right? I show up over here. You can see they've got some Halloween, they've got a ghost in here, a pumpkin in here. But they're going to shut the windows, right?
So predictable. So predictable. I love that. If you are near a Scientology location and you see signs outside, feel free. Call up City Hall and say, hey, what are your rules around putting signs out on the sidewalk? Does it require a permit? If so, maybe shoot them a picture. Does Scientology have a permit for this? Especially if you live in that area and that's your city, they need to answer up on your questions about it. So yeah, something to keep an eye on, because in some areas they can't put the signs out, especially in densely populated places like that, where they need to be clear. Emergency vehicles, pedestrians, all of the things, ADA, all of the things. Hey, Helena, flock of swans, you're up. It's 1:30 where you are. Oh yeah, girl, you need to get to sleep for sure. Okay, so that's Windy City Thetan Watch out there in Chicago. Let's go over to Denmark, where an elderly Sea Org member behaves aggressively towards Mirriam. You guys know Mirriam, Scientology up north. She's out there with L. Ron Hub Cult. They're doing their thing. They're educating. They're sidestepping Scientology, trying to do temporary restraining orders, of which they failed, and it did not work. But watch what happens here.
If you want to leave Scientology, we can help you. Yeah, no need to try and push me. So
for the record, the lady just passed by.
Yeah.
She was about to hit Mirriam.
Yes.
With her elbow.
Yes.
And she approached her.
Yes. Yes.
Mirriam was just standing and talking.
Yes. Thank
so
you.
For the record, for the police record, and for Oza who is watching, watch out, because you are doing mistake now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do not fight with us. Please.
Yeah.
I love too how Aaron Hub calls just like letting them know. Look, Scientology, you don't know. You don't get to push people. You need to tell your people not to push people. Do not make contact with people who are protesting Scientology wherever you are. You think that would be like something that you would just know, but they don't know. And we're going to share a couple clips of this actually. They're Scientologists getting aggressive.
I was very close to crossing the line over here. So I was not prohibiting her to walk past by me. I had a card like in my hand like this, and she pushed down the side. So
yeah, pretty much backhanded. Be gone. Be gone from, and you're not even blocking the way. Just keep walking. So Office of Special Affairs, I really feel like we're reaching a point where you have to start briefing Scientologists and letting them know. All over the world, people are protesting Scientology, live streaming outside of Scientology organizations. Do not touch them. Do not take their things, whatever it is. You can't keep pretending that this is not happening. It is happening. We are all seeing it happen. Wake up to it and educate people in the Scientology buildings on what the rights are of the protesters. Or you know what's going to happen? You're going to get in trouble. They're going to get in trouble because they're the ones violating the law when you shove somebody or you harass somebody like that. Let's look at, speaking of, let's see. Okay, let's go to T per Scientology audit. This is in Australia. They were doing another protest and Mirriam Francis was there. And dude, Scientologist gets massively aggressive and weird at the end. You guys got to see this. It's just bizarre. Check this out.
Hi, how are you going?
Good.
For one, she's so friendly. She's so friendly. How are you rude to this woman?
Yeah, we're documenting.
What are you documenting?
We're documenting Scientology practices and the cover-up of abuse of children.
Cover up of abusive children?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
Church of Scientology?
Yeah.
Who do you represent?
Myself. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, I was born and raised in Scientology.
Oh yeah, what's your name?
My name's Mirriam Francis. My parents are Carrie Elliott or Carrie Francis, Chris Francis. They were originally from Adelaide. And then they went to the US with Scientology. So I grew up in Los Angeles. My mother works at the international base in Hemet.
I went right off the bat, though. I was a little impressed that this dude stuck around for the vast majority of this conversation once he heard what it was about. I'm sure he thought at this point that he was just going to find out information and share it with the Office of Special Affairs and Scientology, as if they don't already know.
For Golden Era Productions, she does all the graphic design for all the book covers, lecture covers, for events, for promotional material. She's been doing that for.
Scientology?
I did, yeah.
What course did you do?
Have you been in Scientology for a while?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. How many years?
50.
Always in Melbourne with Scientology?
All over the world.
All over the world?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yeah. What buildings did you go to or study at?
CC Int.
Yeah.
AOLA.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the Int to Gold. I wasn't.
So if he was at AOLA, if he was there as a Scientologist, he's probably done the operating Thetan levels. But I don't know if he's talking about like he might have been a staff member there. Like, was he Sea Org or not?
Up that far, but
did you work for the church?
Yes, I did.
In the
Oh, there we go.
Sea Org?
Yes, I did.
What roles did you have?
I'm a Class 9 auditor.
All right. Well,
and see, in Scientology, to be a Class 9 auditor and above, you do have to be a Sea Org member. So that does play.
Were you always an auditor?
Sure.
Okay.
Now, I want you to remember something here. This guy is one of the highest trained Scientologists that exists. You can do up through Class 12 in Scientology auditor training. You have to be a Sea Org member. He is a former Sea Org member. He did up through Class 9. So he has done so much training on keeping in your TRs and communicating. He's supposed to be this expert on communication. Keep that in mind as you watch this. Not a lot. He didn't say none. He said not a lot. Not none, not a lot. And good for her on calling out the violence. You don't need to touch my phone. You don't need to be violent, which he did, which he just got violent. He just got violent. We're not seeing what you were seeing. Oh, was I not? Did it get cut out? Okay, hold on, you guys. Hold on. I'm going to pull that up. Hold on. Please pause for a brief intermission. You got to see this. You got to see this. You got to see this. Hold on. Going down, grabbing it up. Here we go. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to skip to the part at the end. Okay. All right. So with feeling this time. Okay. So, because this is the key part. Again, keeping in mind that he's supposed to be this highly trained Scientologist. Okay. Very highly trained Scientologist.
Mostly auditing adults.
Are you recording this?
I am recording it. Do you want me to? Excuse me.
I don't want you to record me.
Okay, but you don't need to touch my phone. That's not okay. Excuse me, you just got violent.
What's your name?
Mirriam Francis.
Yeah, excuse me, you just got violent. She totally called him out on it, which she should. She asked him when he was in the Sea organization auditing back in the day, did you audit children? He didn't say no or none. He said not many. So some, but not many. Totally what a creep, right? Anna from Canada. I'm like, it just gives like all kinds of creep vibes. It really does. It was like, whoa. Again, it's just like Scientology, you got to talk to your people. You need to educate them on what the rules are because they don't know. Obviously, social cues is not enough to know that you shouldn't be doing that. You start off, Mirriam's already talking about Scientology, and she identified herself as a former Scientologist exposing abuse right off the bat while holding a camera that's pointed at him. So why his TRs went so far out at the end, I don't know. T says, please email me if you recognize this man. T, if you want to throw up your email, I will pull it up. I will keep an eye out for it. Cubana Chica, he's panicking that he will be in trouble. Yes. Doesn't want to be identified as a Scientologist. You know, and the crazy thing is like he lost his cool after he knew there was a camera running. You know, it's just like, you're a class 9 auditor. You're supposed to be, you one of the higher trained Scientologists on the planet. You can't just go, oh, you're recording? Okay, well, I don't want to be recorded, so I'm ending this conversation. And then you just walk away. That's all you have to do. That's right, Remart. She said she was documenting Scientology. Fuzzy Peak handcuffs. Yeah, he's not aloha. Not at all. Not one bit. Arkansas Flamingo. That's right. Don't touch our Mirriam. Yeah, it's gonna backfire big time. Truly is. Truly is. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye out for T's email there. But in the meantime, we're going to England, everybody. Let's go jump over and take a look at a couple clips from the weekend of protests happening at St. Hill, where it all started with L. Ron Hubbard running Scientology, where other organizations across the world aspire to be as big as that organization once was back in its heyday. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's see. Nisa, I'm not sure if they called the police or not. I didn't see anything after that, so I don't know for sure. And I don't know what, how it works in Australia either, but it was still just like very poor on that man. It truly was. So let's go take a look at, this is from Apostate Alex. I do believe this is, I think, day 2, and he might have been speaking to a police sergeant. Let's take a peek.
It's all right. I'm still filming. Is that okay? That's fine. Just because we're packing up now, so we're leaving. We'll be back here tomorrow at 2. Yeah, okay. We might be 1:30, 2ish. Yeah, I reckon. No, I told them 2, but we might be half an hour early. To do the same tomorrow then. Then we'll be here. Well. Cool. We'll be here a bit later tomorrow, till about 7:30, I reckon. 7, 7:30. Yeah, if that's okay. Have you had any complaints from us? Like nothing that I've heard about us. We've been okay behaviour-wise and. Nothing concerning or no, nothing. Okay. Nothing that I wouldn't expect from a protest. So it's been a peaceful protest. Yeah. Oh no, have you got a list of you? No. But
it really sounds like they were, well coordinated with the police and knew what to not do, what to do and not do. And when organizing a protest like that with a bunch of people and getting them to try to follow the same kind of guidelines, similar to even protests in the States here, don't block the door, don't prevent people from going in. That is a lot to coordinate. And they did a whole march and they were there for a few days. Let's take a look at a clip from the SP chef. Let's see here. Do I have it pulled up? Yep. Take a look.
Let's do a roll call. Is there Lucas Jans here? Please answer with I, like we learned in the course room.
Because remember, the SP chef, this is where he was too. When he was in the C organization, he spent time there as well, I believe.
So just a reminder, this is the sign I'm holding. Rice and beans, long work hours, no days off. Is this really what you want? Well, that's what I experienced. I was the cook here for 4 years. I had to cook rice and beans for anybody who did not meet targets as a punishment. I was not allowed to put any spices, tomatoes, or vegetables with it. It had to be plain rice and plain beans as punishment for not working properly. Then we got long work hours, of course. I worked from 7 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, every day, over 100 hours a week. And almost practically no days off. How dare you? How dare you? What an unflattering angle there. I need to, promote myself. I'm still single, darlings.
I think that was Alex who came up behind him. I'm not totally sure, but they definitely had some fun there and just seemed like they really pulled it off without, creating a lot of dust up with law enforcement there. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about this. Let's take a look at another clip. This was from day 3. This is from Apostate Alex. Let's see. Take a look.
So there's plenty of space here for people to walk past and avoid us if they want to. One thing to note is today, if Scientology are successful with their public spaces protection order, today will be the last day we will be allowed to protest outside St. Hill. So this could be the last St. Hill protest for the IES event. So we are going to make it count and we are going to do everything we've been doing over the weekend. We're going to be peaceful, respectful, kind, compassionate. And we're going to stand here with a very clear message that the...
Love that. Love that. They definitely had a clear message and so much that you can catch up on. I've linked down below to the videos that I had grabbed clips from. You can also check out, you can go to Apostate Alex. He will probably be, I'm sure, doing an update. You can also catch the SP Chef on PTS for Life with Jeff. They are going to go live in 3 hours. That's today. So you can go over to PTS for Life or the SP Chef. I'm assuming you'll be able to catch it on both their channels there. And let's be honest, though, I think our biggest takeaway from that last clip of Samuel's is that he is single and ready to mingle. He just put it out there. I love it. It looks like they had a great time, and a bunch of people showed up and let Scientology know that, hey, we know you're here. We know what you were doing. We're going to continue to expose this, and we're going to keep an eye on what's happening with Scientology's efforts to try and make it so that you can't actually do that you cannot protest out there. That is something that, of course, they're going to try to do, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but we're going to keep an eye about that. T from Pert Scientology Audit says, did you see when the police came and told them they had to take the Davy Miscavige doll down because it was a threat? No. T, if you wouldn't mind, if you could send me a timestamp or a clip of that, I would love to share it. I did not see that. That is hilarious because that is the threat. They're threatened by a doll, a little doll, the one that just, wherever I tossed him, sits on the floor somewhere. Wow. I wonder why. What would be the threat? Do they think it's like a voodoo doll? That wouldn't fit because Scientology doesn't believe in that. So I don't see why it would. Makes no sense. What do people do with the doll? I don't know. Anyways, I do need to check that out. So thank you so much for that. Thank you guys all for being here. I hope you have an amazing cult-free day.